hello there. We have been talking about a new unit and building things. We've been talking about how to build things. For our snacks, we're going to build things in the next couple weeks. But I want you to go back to the last unit what we were studying and how we talked about these two words. I want you to think about what they mean. Reuse and recycle. What do those words mean? Think it. Yup. Recycle is when you bring it to a recycle center, they melt it down and create something new. Reusing things means you take things that you've already used, like a milk container, and you create into something else. Well, my story today is about a guy who reuses things. Okay, so he's going to reuse things and create something really beautiful. I'm going to read the first part of the book today, and then later this week, I'm going to read the second part of the book. So when we read the second part, we'll try to remember what we've already read by taking a picture walk, and then we'll read the rest. So you're not going to hear the whole story today. It's called Dream Something Big. I noticed that this word right here is all capital letters, B-I-G. And then I also notice that it's all made out of something that kind of looks like paper, maybe tiles. He's reusing it. This is a story of Watts Tower. This story's author, what does the author do? Right, writes the words. That person's name is Diane Hutz Aston. The collages, there's a new word. It's kind of like the illustrations, but it's like things like paper that they glued together to create something. Those collages are done by Susan L. Roth. We're going to hear some words throughout this book. Build. Ooh, I know what build means. What does build mean? Okay. Construct. Think about what that might mean. Materials. And bookmark. What do I use a bookmark for? That's right, I use a bookmark to mark my place of where I left off reading. Because remember, today I'm not going to read the whole thing, am I? So, I need you to listen to those words, build, construct, and materials. And when we come across it in the sentence, we're going to try to figure out what they mean. I noticed some big words right here that are bigger than the rest of the words that are down here. Those words must be important. It says 1 chip of tile. So here's a piece of a tile that looks like it might have been broken. They took one of them. I wonder if they're going to create something with this one piece. Ooh, that's right. They're going to construct something. They're going to reuse it. You ready to see what he does? Uncle Sam held it in his hand and studied that one tile. His imagination turned like a kaleidoscope. He put it in his pocket. I'm gonna do something big, he heard him say. I wonder what that something big is with one tile. I didn't know then, but that single tile was no longer trash. It was the first building block to a candy cane covered castle. So he took all those old things and reused them. He's constructing a candy cane castle, but he was building something just as special and magical. Uncle Sam was my neighbor. His name was Simon, but he never called him that. We called him Sam. He lives in Watts, California on 170th Street, where the aroma, the smell of the tamales, yummy, sizzled in the air, where the truck of Japanese farmers rumbled to and from vegetable markets, where music and laughter rippled from diners and dancers in Watts Tavern. Ooh, that sounds like fun. So it sounds like a magical place, and then he's creating something. Some things that people were just throwing away. He's making a candy covered castle. No one really knew what to think about Uncle Sam. This man who talked to himself as he hunted through the garbage heaps for things that nobody wanted. A rainbow of broken teapots, plates, tiles, and sparkly bottles. So he was digging through the trash that people threw away so he can create something really cool. It looks like maybe this town had a train that went through it. Look at his big bag that Uncle Sam has. I collected jewels with him along the railroad tracks. Sacks and sacks and sacks of them. My favorite were the tiles with blue flowers, the soda bottle with the girl and the bubbles and the green horse. For every bag of bits, he gave me a penny. Pennies bought me lots of candy. Now I want you to go back and I want you to think about this castle. Candy covered castle. Is he using candy? No, he's picking things out of the garbage to what people threw away that were like teapots and plates that had been broken. He's not using candy, is he? Even though he's calling it the candy covered castle. But what is he buying? What is he buying? Candy. So maybe she calls it the Candy Cane Castle because that's what she earns. She earns a penny to buy candy. Maybe. Uncle Sam worked in a tile factory. I bet he has a lot of things to reuse every day, but on Sundays and holidays. But he worked on his creation every night, every Sunday, and every holiday. He took those bags of glass and smashed them. What is he using to smash them? You're right. He's making them into smaller pieces and smashing them with a hammer. It says whack, whack, whack. I watched him shovel steel rods under the railroad tracks and transform them into rings. Uncle Sam was small and skinny, but his muscles were mighty. Some people called him crazy, but he wasn't. He was a magician. A magician? He's building things, right? A magician means he's magic. I wonder if this girl thinks he's kind of magical because he can create really cool things. He's a hard worker. He's going to accomplish something really big. In Broken Things, Uncle Sam saw what no one else noticed. Everybody else just threw everything away, but he saw something better. He found hearts in the back of old ice cream parlor chairs, flowers in faucet handles, the sun in rusty gears. People who couldn't see the hearts and the flowers wonder, why build it? Why build it? I can't tell you, he said, why a man makes the pants. Why a man makes pants. Why does a man make shoes? So in the sink, he didn't see a heart, right? Think about that. He saw hearts, but he had to create that art, right? That heart was created by all the things that he was breaking, right? And building a heart or a sun. Do we know yet what he is actually making? Not yet. We only see bits of pieces of it. See, he took these parts and made a heart and flowers. He does have pretty big muscles. Uncle Sam talked to himself while he mixed a secret recipe of mortar. Mortar is things that you make things stick, kind of like glue, but he's doing construction, so he had to use something better called mortar. This much sand and this much cement. Cement as powdery as flour, sand as fine as sugar, water to bind them. So all those things, he's describing what they feel like, because we might not know what cement feels like. We might not know what sand feels like, even though we probably do. So he's comparing it to like flour and sugar. And bind means that he's putting them all together. That's going to make them stick. He wrapped wire mesh around the poles, smoothed the cement around them, and carefully pressed a jigsaw, like a puzzle, of jewels into his batter of wet cement, day after day, not just day over day. Listen to these words. Year over year, working on his something big, without gloves, until his fingerprints were worn away. Years and years. Remember when he works on this project? Every night, every holiday, and every Sunday. That's a lot of time that he was putting into things like that. We still don't know exactly what he's creating. But this picture shows a little bit more. He's right there. It's so tall. We still don't know exactly, but if you look in the background, there's things even in the background. It's that big. He made a ship. A ship appeared. A tower rose. A cactus garden bloomed. All these things he's starting to create. Now, we haven't seen the whole thing, but later this week, we're going to talk more about this book. We're going to take a picture walk through what we've already read to remember what we read, and then we're going to see what else happens, what else he creates. Uncle Sam is a really hard worker. He's really good at what he does. He's constructing things. He's building things, creating things really cool out of things that people were just throwing away. Okay, so later this week, we're going to remember where we left off, because I'm going to put my, what is this called again? Bookmark right there. All right, I will see you later this week to finish this story. Bye.